Our hair's on fire. I mean, I want us to play like our back's against the wall. I think that's who we are. That's how I want us to play. We should play the chip on our shoulder all the time because, that's the type of mentality I'd like to play with.
This is the ODU Coaches Show on News 3.
A 3-game winning streak for the Monarchs, and with that, we welcome you to the Old Dominion Football Coaches Show. Ricky, Rahne, Mark Davis. Coach, thanks a lot as always for being with us. So, obviously, you guys approach every game the same, but is there a little extra juice around the locker room when you start to enter conference play?
I think we put such an emphasis on going 1-0 that for us it's just about preparing. The one thing you do is you're just maybe a little bit more familiar with each of these teams, but we've also played some of these non-conference teams a couple times too, so I think there's some familiarity there as well. So, obviously our goal is to win every game. We want to compete for Sun Belt championships, and we all know that. And so in order to do that, we have to go, 1-0 each week in league play in order to get that done.
In your first conference test, the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, they come in looking a little bit different. They're averaging under 300 yards a game, but they're coming off their best offensive performance of the season.
Yeah. They've changed quarterbacks, and they seem to pick it up a little bit there. But I think, things really clicked for them in the middle of that South Al game, and they have some weapons. They really do have some weapons. Quarterback's a good player. So I think that maybe they just hadn't hit their stride yet, but I think, you saw what they can be in that South Al game and 38 points and doing some things there. So we're certainly expecting a good offensive performance from them.
Defensively, they have some guys that can really get in the backfield there. Was it Noah Arinze, who was the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week? He can get back there and disrupt the quarterback. So It's a defense you guys have to get ready for as well.
Yeah, they've got some athletic defensive ends on both sides. And then they've got, a linebacker, they're number one. He plays a little bit of Will, he plays a little bit of Mike. He's a really good player, and he has been a good player for a long time. In the secondary, they are long and big and very physical. So we've got to be prepared, and we've got to make sure we have great technique and fundamentals, and we're on our game because they are a very physical unit.
Well, and you mentioned it, right there along those lines. Their trajectory has been trending upward on both sides. 3 turnovers last game and 38 points. So, if that keeps going, you know what's coming in here.
Yeah, if you look at it, they've got some guys who are very ball aware. They had turnovers in consecutive possessions, last week and in their last time they played, and that was really what turned the thing around for them and got them going. And so they're very ball aware. They play very, very, very hard. I think when you watched it, that's what you want as a coach. You always want somebody to say, hey, our team plays hard and physical, and those sort of things. And you do see that from this team. They play very physical, they play hard, and they're very ball aware. So, this is going to be a big challenge for us.
And they have some extra time to prepare for you guys. They're coming off a bye themselves. Is that something you guys are aware of and pay attention to, or does it really not factor into anything you guys are doing this week?
I don't think it really can. You can really turn yourself in knots. You start trying to think about those sort of things.
Sure.
You've got to prepare the way you're going to prepare, and I think that's the thing that we're looking at, and we say to ourselves, hey, what are our tendencies? What can we look at, and what can we try to change? What are their tendencies, and what do we think they might have changed in the bye week? But you're not going to get too far into that, because then you can really just start chasing ghosts, and that's when you play slower. You don't play as physical and those sort of things.
Hey, I do want to rewind to last week for just one quick second and talk about the red zone. Now, after the game, you had said, hey, listen, obviously the 3 red zone turnovers, you said you're not concerned about this becoming any sort of trend or anything like that. Obviously, sometimes it seemed like you were not concerned, chalked up, these things happen, you'll pay attention to it, but you weren't really worried that it was going to be a constant thing.
We want to get it corrected.
Oh, of course, yes.
I don't want it to sound like
you're not shrugging it off, of course.
No, we want to get it corrected. We can't have those issues. There's different reasons for each one of the issues, I would say.
Yep.
But when you look at our history overall over the last, year and plus, I would say we've been very, very good in the red zone.
100%.
So yes. I think that it's just one of those things. We did not play our best game in the red zone. Luckily, we were able to overcome it. But we're not. We've got to make sure that we're more ball secure, and that's certainly one of the things that we've got to do. And then we've got to execute, and we're going to look and see some things that we can do a better job of. But overall, We've been so good down there. We need to get back just to executing.
Well, and the defense definitely having a big part to do with being able to kind of come out on top here last week. We're going to get onto that in next segment. But, Coach, before we get to there, want to know mentality, obviously. But you guys are out to the best start since 2014 for this program. When you're having that success, does it make it easier for the guys to trust the process and buy in?
I think, winning can be just as hard as losing, right? You don't want to buy into some things and think that you're just predestined or preordained to win. We got to look and see what got us each and every win. And that's preparation. That's making sure that, our bodies are prepared, our minds are prepared, we're practicing hard, we're doing all those sort of things. So it's basically going back and harking on those sort of things and making sure that we're staying true to the process and we're not, just thinking, okay, well, this is who we are. This just happens for us. And I don't think we are. I feel like the guys are really focusing on the preparation and seeing, okay, I played well because I did this in practice, and we need to continue to do that.
Next chance for a win tomorrow against Coastal Carolina. We're going to rewind a little bit and take a look at some key plays from last week when the Old Dominion Football Coaches Show continues right after this.
He's going to stare one down the middle. It's going to be thrown open. Touchdown, Old Dominion. The catch is made as it's pulled in. Colton Joseph firing another dart as this one is pulled in by T.J. Johnson, and Old Dominion strikes. Hound drops back to throw after the play fake. Intercepted as he goes to the ground to haul it in. It's an INT for the Monarchs on defense. Ready for it was Jeremy Mack.
You heard that win over Liberty on 94.1, the Old Dominion Sports Radio Network. Back here now with Coach Rahne. And Coach, obviously, not the complete game you guys maybe were hoping for, but still able to come out with a win. Let's take a look at some plays from Liberty, and let's start in the second quarter with your defense. Here we go. Bam, Chris Trinidad all over it. Great pressure there by your defense.
Yeah, this is one of those things. It was funny. I was just talking about this. Hunter Malecki, our true freshman, comes through there, number 40. And if you watch this, he's right there. He's putting the pressure on. You can see him right here coming down.
Yeah.
And when you watch from the other angle, you've never seen somebody so happy that his teammate got a sack and so upset that he wasn't able to get there first and get his first sack.
Colliding emotions.
Yeah, and because he's such a team guy, he's right there. But Chris came around, made a nice rush. What happened there is Hunter collapsed the pocket in the interior, so Chris and Gus got around the edges and made it. But there was no place for him to go, right? And so I think that was really a team sack right there. We did a nice job in rushing that passer.
How happy have you been with your defensive pressure this year and your ability to apply that pressure to the quarterback?
Well, we've done a nice job. I think really on both sides of the ball. We've been able to limit sacks and limit TFLs, and we've been able to generate them. I think that's been, a critical point that we've really done a nice job combined, a team, right? Like last week, explosive plays were a huge part of something I was going to talk about, and we had 19% explosive plays on offense, and people were asking me after the game, we didn't generate any explosive plays, and we had 19%.
Yeah.
And then we limited them to 5.6%. So, that is a huge thing in the game. Massive. And so I think that's what we've been playing some good team football.
And you define an explosive play how?
Pass of 15, run of 12.
All right, well, with that in mind, let's go to the ensuing drive after that. This also in the second quarter. Coming up here, we got Colton Joseph coming up and taking the snap. Here we go. And gets that ball out of there. TJ right there, takes the hit too and endures it. Touchdown. There's one of those aforementioned explosive plays.
Yeah, it was a really nice route by TJ. It was a good play call, well set up. Nice sell there by Colton and getting back there, and then put it right on him. Obviously, you're going to have to like you said, endure one of those hits right there. But it was nice to get other receivers involved, and TJ made a nice play right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw then the Traquan going out there up top. Was there any? Yeah, that kind of provided maybe a distraction and got some coverage up there too.
Yeah, we had, if you go back, it kind of peels off the guy who's right over the top of the slot defender by getting him out there. He has to go wider now, which gives us a free release at the slot, and we're able to get there and get to where we wanted to get to on the field. Well,
it was scoreless at that point, so a good chance for you guys to hit the board first. And obviously, when weather impacts a game like this, people question the passing game and how much is it going to be used. You guys had no problem going to the air, it seemed.
No, I thought our guys did a really nice job. Colton really threw the ball well. All of our quarterbacks were throwing the ball really well pregame.
Yeah.
And so I was wasn't concerned about it at all. And pregame was actually the worst weather that we had.
Yeah.
I mean, that was by quite a large margin. So, we handled it well. I thought we handled, we talk about wanting to be the best ranked team in America.
Yeah.
And I thought we handled the weather pretty well. I didn't think any of the turnovers were weather related.
Right.
I didn't think that was the issue. We had other issues, and we have to have better technique and fundamental on some of those. But I didn't think any of them were weather related. I actually didn't think theirs were weather related.
Sure.
Either. I thought we just punched the ball out and made some physical plays on there that cost some turnovers.
Well, and we're talking about those explosive plays in the passing game, and this takes us to play number 3 here. Let's fast forward to the fourth quarter, 14-7 you guys, and look how wide open Ja'Cory Thomas is down there.
Yeah, this was a really good read by both Ja'Cory and Colton. They tried to get run support with their corner, and so they tried to trap with their corner and come in here. Colton saw it, Ja'Cory saw it. They're able to get there, and that's why he's so wide open right there.
Right.
It was a nice deal there. So, that was a heck of a read by both of them. Really nice play. I told Colton, after the play that I thought that, you could see the corner kind of coming in, and he's trying to get run support right there.
Right.
And then we were able to get over the top of him. I thought that we did a nice job, because if you look at the safeties.
Yep, down here.
Right, yeah, if you look at the safeties, they didn't rotate that way.
Right.
Usually get more of a cover 2 look. It looked like half the team was going to go one high, and the other half went cover 2. Mm-hmm. So that's why it ended up like this. So I thought it was a great read by those two guys, and seeing that. I did not read it as well as they did. I will freely admit that. I told Colton that. So I thought he didn't. I thought those guys did a really nice job there. And then nice move right here.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yep.
And still getting in the end zone, not being satisfied with just the catch.
And once you get by, you're in a situation there with the coverage that you were just talking about, where once you get by that guy, as long as you can turn on the jets a little bit, it's nothing but green grass.
No, I mean, and he's able to do that, and we have a bunch of wideouts that can do that. I mean, we that's where I think right now we're able to create explosive plays, because we're not having to look at one guy. We have multiple guys who can make plays. We have multiple running backs who can make plays. We have a quarterback, multiple quarterbacks who can make explosive plays with their feet and their arms. So we're hard to defend because of that.
Yeah, no doubt at all. We'll see what plays make the difference in this week's game against Coastal Carolina tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Here's Merger. Pressure collapsing, and there's a sack! A high Val jacked up sack as the Monarchs bring him down in the backfield, and it's none other than Chris Trinidad.
Well, after emerging from non-conference play 3-1, it's time to dive into Sun Belt play for the Monarchs. We're catching up with the players about opening their conference schedule here this week.
It's a little more excitement, a little more fun, just get into what we're really here for, the real purpose, and just a different mindset going forward, but keeping the same type of drive and mentality.
We just got to take a different approach with conference play. Like, our approach is good right now, but we got to turn it up a notch. Just make a break right here. One loss, one bad game that can cost us. We just got to be locked in.
Yeah, the Monarchs ready to rock and roll and kick off Sun Belt play. Back here now with Coach Rahne. And Coach, Coastal Carolina, it's by the beach, and I guess we're by the beach too now that I mentioned it.
Yeah.
So let's talk vacation. What was the ideal vacation spot for Ricky Rahne, either now, growing up, any whatever the case may be, beach guy, mountain guy, city guy? What was the ideal for you?
I mean, I'm more of a mountain guy. I mean, maybe
Colorado
for him. Yeah. I mean, my ideal vacation would be to go skiing.
Okay.
That's what I love to do, and those sort of things. As I get older, I like a good beach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to go to the beach and hang out. I'm not one of those. I love to go places, like if we're going to go to a foreign country or whatever, I like going, if we're going to go to a beach foreign country, like I don't need to go exploring that place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if we're going to go like to some place that's not like that, I would like to go explore. And I am one of those people who I'm a history guy, like we talked about.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, I'm going to go find. I remember when we went to Germany, my wife and, my friends, they were out they wanted to get coffee, which I don't enjoy at all. So there was a huge church at the top of the thing, so I went and looked at it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a beautiful old church, and it was the only place outside of Italy that has a pope buried there.
Really?
Yeah, just kind of walked in there. Yeah.
Not knowing that ahead of time.
No. No. The people weren't real happy that I was in there.
Oh.
I don't think I was supposed to be, but it was also they're also speaking to me in German, which is not like it's not like the most calming language.
No, it's not.
So they might have been saying some very pleasant
Right,
things.
but it
to
also
me.
feels like you're being yelled at. Right?
Yeah, and I kind of looked German because whatever. So like they were pretty sure that I should I don't know.
You should know better, right?
Yeah, I should have known better, but I did not.
Yeah, no, not
I
at
did
all.
not know that at all. But it was still pretty sweet. I did not leave. So and they didn't like call any people to come get me. So I think maybe I was all right.
I can't go any further now without investigating your skiing skills. Are you a Black Diamond guy?
Yeah, okay, but like, I don't call them black diamonds.
Is that something that like only tourists do or something, or what's the?
I would say so.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Like, no, you just call them blacks, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go do a black. I don't say black diamonds because like I would never say like green circle or like blue square. Like I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But no, yes,
Okay.
I ski blacks. I enjoy skiing. I've done it a long time. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I'm not very good anymore, mainly because I'm old.
You lose some flexibility, but you know.
Some
like
flexibility,
riding a
some
bike.
reaction time. Yeah. So I've gone with much shorter skis, and then these new skis, they're shaped. Man, they do most of the skiing for you.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to ski on these big, long, straight skis. You have to actually like have some power and skill.
Right.
Now it's pretty easy.
The flexibility, right.
awesome.
Slalom? Do we slalom at all?
I can turn pretty well, yeah. I mean, and I don't like skiing the trees really anymore or anything like that mainly. But like growing up, I didn't wear a helmet, right? And
Right.
we didn't wear helmets. I mean,
Sure.
Now my wife is pretty adamant that I wear a helmet.
If you're going skiing,
I wear a helmet.
Yeah, right.
Kids wear helmets. I wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I love skiing. It's like I said, it's besides coaching football and hanging out with my family is definitely my favorite thing to do.
Lastly, for you, any vacation, childhood or adulthood that really jumps out to you as memorable?
We went to Mesa Verde when I was growing up.
Okay.
You know what that is?
I don't.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's awesome. It's this big city that's built inside the cliffs of Colorado.
Okay.
And like the people just like left, and they call them the Anasazi Indian, whatever. They left. No one knows why.
Okay.
And no one knows where they went.
Wow.
And it's a really cool thing. I mean, there's some awesome stuff there. My mom was gonna be so mad. But we were like 8 years old.
Sure.
I was 8 years old. My sister was like 13. My parents got divorced when I was 1. And I went with both my parents. And we drove like in an RV. Like, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
I thought
sure.
I thought it was one of the best vacations I've ever had.
Yeah.
My sister and I think the rest of my family does not remember it that way. So, I mean, there's a reason people get divorced.
Yeah,
you know?
sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, it was one of those things, but I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
We went to like the Four Corners.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep.
So, you know the Four
Yeah,
Corners?
yep.
Yeah, so like,
4 states right there.
yeah, 4 states right there. I mean, I remembered like drinking a lot of apple juice and like having fun and thinking it was like the best trip ever.
Yeah, staying
And then,
up
like,
late, being on the road, right?
And I
mean,
talked about, like 20 years later, I talked about it with my sister, and she was like, "What trip were you on?"
Yeah, right. We don't want to talk about this, right?
Yeah, so, I don't know. I loved my childhood. I had a great childhood. It was great, and like that was a cool trip.
Coastal Carolina here coming up tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us. The Chanticleers and Monarchs kick off 6 p.m. tomorrow night on ESPN+.
Down the field, wide open, caught at the 30, past the 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown, Old Dominion. Colton Joseph to Ja'Cory Thomas. And just like that, the double-digit lead is back for the Monarchs.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Old Dominion Football Coaches Show. Old Dominion and Coastal Carolina, just one of many Sun Belt matchups this week. Let's take a look around the conference and check out the slate.
James Madison getting back to work in its second Sun Belt matchup of the season. The Dukes hit the road to face Georgia State. JMU looking to make it 3 wins in a row and favored to win by almost 20 points. The Monarchs face both teams during their conference campaign. Texas State and Arkansas State both have their eyes on picking up a key conference victory. The Bobcats entered the contest double-digit favorites. And Troy and South Alabama also at the Sun Belt Showdown. The Trojans coming to Norfolk for a Thursday night contest later this season. That's this week's look around the Sun Belt.
And that wraps up this edition of the Old Dominion Football Coaches Show. Old Dominion, Coastal Carolina kickoff tomorrow night, 6 p.m. on ESPN+. For Ricky Rahne, I'm Mark Davis. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Monarchs.
Monarchs with a 2-touchdown win. It was a little sloppy, just like the weather. A couple of missed field goals, turnovers too. But Old Dominion taking it today by a count of 21-7 as they move their record to 3-1